reading for you about somebody who seems to be avoiding the conversation or avoiding maybe seeing you because they are nervous they're going to mess it up. Now, this could be pertaining to some sort of obligation or work, but I think for the majority of you, if this reading is resonating or resonates, it will be more so along the lines of a romantic partnership that this person is nervous about. The fall keeps repeating on my head, the eternal obstacle between me and the next step. And we also have avoidance. In the dance of shadows, I conceal and evade. Fear's veil keeps me distant in the dark's cool shade. So these two cards make a lot of sense, working together to kind of paint a clear picture of someone who is, um, what's the right word? Like paralyzed with fear. They could be moving towards something they want, but instead they think about all the ways that it could go wrong and they end up like avoiding it. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. You can also, in that description box, find a way to become a member if you would like some additional content. And you can also find a link to my Etsy page, especially if you want to check out the new candle. I finally posted the new one, you guys. I actually did a post on YouTube just now with that link in the comments for you as well. If you want the link specifically to that new candle, which is called Bad Habit and has tobacco, coffee, and leather. I think it's my new favorite. Hello, Grindhard. Hello, Danny. Hello, James. How are we doing? Hello, Josh. What's up? Thank you for the butterfly, Annalise. I hope you're having a good one. Let's dive in. I think what we're going to do is start with the Golden Art Nouveau. All right, what else do we have about this person who is perhaps a bit fearful? Oh no. Oh, I suppose for the holiday it is, isn't it, James? That makes sense. Thank you for the tip. Let me add this for you. Toothache. I'm certainly going to be sending you some healing energy. Can I survive till tomorrow? If anyone else wants to send some healing energy towards James, I greatly appreciate it. But James, I've added that for you. What else do we have? Ten of Pentacles. Wow, and the Ten of Swords. Okay. Statistically significant for 2 of the 5 tens to come out of 78 cards. And I have no other, like I've only pulled 2 cards, right? This is saying that even when there is hope for something that is exactly what they've been looking for, exactly what they want to invest in, they inevitably do something to mess it up. And so they have this expectation that everything is going to end or nothing really lasts, especially the things that they like the best. Yes, happy Memorial Day. I hope you all have some better weather than we do. It's been rainy for like over a week now. I just want to see the sunshine. Actually, I think it's been exactly a week. All right, what else do we have? Wow, 7 of Swords. Okay. And the 4 of Swords in the reverse. Maybe if I am charming, or maybe if I am good looking enough, or maybe if I know how to sing the best karaoke, people won't be able to figure out right away that I have been avoiding the healing or the shadow work that I need to do in order to be able to connect in a relationship in a healthy way. This is someone who avoids whatever that healing is that they need to do. And they like to find ways to make it seem like everything is fine, even though they are struggling with that. An endless summer. That sounds pretty rough, Josh. Hello, Lemonade. How you doing? Yes, no spamming, please. Hello, Drew. Starting off with an insult? Doesn't miss a beat. Hello, Ruben. What's up? What else do we have? Knight of Wands, Hermit in the reverse, High Priestess in the reverse. Okay. Look, when you don't resolve the issues from your past, especially if you have a need to forgive someone or you just need to forgive yourself, right? It just piles up on the issues, right? You don't resolve the things from their past, then that means that those problems are destined to repeat. And then it's like, now I feel guilty for, hurting yet another person. So this is someone who knows that they need to work on things, but they refuse to. And they also do what they can to try to hide or be a bit secretive so that people don't figure them out as quickly. Like, oh, no, of course, I am super great with all of the things that happen in my life. And there's nothing that would prevent me from being able to appreciate your love. Wrong. They are fearful, and I would make the argument, and I have before, that every decision or action that you take in your life, it is either coming from a place of fear or coming from a place of love. And this is someone who consistently chooses fear. Hello, Alak, how are you doing? Hello, Melissa, what's up? Hello, Panachotis, how are you doing? I do the general reading first, Alok, and if you would like me to do a personal question for you, you can attach your question to a super chat and I will add you to the list, but that would start in about 28 minutes or so. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? Hello, Tracy. Hello, Truth Tellin'. What's up? Thank you, Grindhard. Hello, Bella. This is a tarot reading. Hello, Ro. How are you doing? So we have Judgment in the reverse and the Seven of Cups in the reverse. Look, I think you are astute enough in your observations, or your intuition is strong enough to be able to tell that the person that you're dealing with is not great with the healing and probably still has some issues processing their emotions, and have not really let go of some problems from their past. And those problems impact how they connect with people currently. We have the Seven of Wands, Two of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Moon. So even though I feel like the mysterious nature of this individual draws you in or intrigues you, I think there is perhaps also some physical attraction here. Once you start to get to know this person and you realize that that mystery is actually more so like instability, I think your guard comes up and you start to reconsider whether or not you actually want to get close to this person because it might be a little bit problematic, right? Yeah, Drew, don't get on my bad side today. Please don't. Because what you just said, I find offensive, and we've already had this conversation. You think it's really funny to get on my nerves. At some point, I'm just going to block you from the channel, okay? Don't say things like that. You got me about to curse. I gotta be cautious. Hello, Krishal. Look at the comment right above. Please call me Carmen. Hello, Tafa. How are you doing? That's a little bit demanding. If you'd like to do a super chat with your question, I will do a reading for you at the end after the general reading is over. But please don't be so demanding, okay? Are you surprised, Drew? I can kick you out just as fast. Just be respectful. I feel like we've had this conversation 8 different times, Drew. It's not that difficult. Hello, Shayla. How are you doing? Hello, Sculpted. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Aaron. What's up? So we have the Queen of Cups the Page of Cups in the reverse, and Justice in the reverse. This is going to be a little bit of a repeated cycle. And I feel like for many of you, you recognized it early on enough to be able to be like, you know what? I think I'm good. I don't really need to learn that lesson again. This person seems to have difficulty understanding their emotions or connecting in a, mature way. I think a lot of you are just going to nope right out of there and say, I don't want to teach somebody how to deal with their emotions. That's not my job. But for others of you, there is this risk, and that's why this message is coming through, that you're going to be a little bit too intrigued, or you might start falling in love with this person. And it muddies the water for your decision making skills, right? That discernment starts to suffer a little bit because I think you start to feel like some responsibility for lifting this person's spirits. It do be like that sometimes, Shayla. Oh no, Erin, I hope you get some more. That's tragic. We've got the Nine of Pentacles with the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is in the reverse. Yeah. See, I think the majority of you are going to be like, I don't know about you. It looks like you might need a little bit more time to work on some of those things that cause problems in relationships. So maybe I'm just going to do me. Maybe I'm just going to stick to myself. Nine of Pentacles is also a card that can talk about independent energy. And when you realize that this individual is probably not really great with the healing, I think you pull back. Some of you are going to hesitate, and that's why this reading is here. We need just a little bit more light, don't you think? Another candle? All right. This is the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. Let's see what else we've got for you. Hello, Kola. How are you doing? Oh, you said it's Kerala? How are you doing? What else do we have? Page of Cups, Eight of Swords in the reverse, Knight of Cups. Yeah, so we've got somebody here who basically they make these love offers, they flirt, they get connected, they daydream about things, and it's like they disconnect from the issues that have plagued them for years. And then all of a sudden, those fears will, snap back into place and they'll ghost or they'll start an argument or they'll get distracted by another person and no longer be interested in monogamy or focusing on somebody. We got the Two of Cups and the Six of Wands in the reverse with the Wheel of Fortune. So I do think that you are in this person's life for a reason. I do think they're going to fall in love with you, even if you only talk to them for like a couple weeks. You are placed in this person's life to remind them what they're missing out on, or it's like a little nudge for them to realize if they want to have that kind of relationship, they can't just be distracted and ignorant of the things that they need to do to work on themselves. So I do think that this is fated to fail, in part because they are so afraid of failure. But it is also this failure and the fact that you end up being the one that got away that motivates them to finally change. If you, however, look the other way on the failings of their healing, you may end up getting like tossed right into whatever chaos they like to brew romantically. So it turns out your walking away or your rejection of this person is actually really important to them changing. Hello, Lee. How are you doing today? Why is the hubby acting out about X? Walking away from him seems like a good idea, but let's ask that for you. Thank you, Lee. I've added that for you. Thank you, Lee. Hello, Darnell. How are you doing? Hello, Flower. What's up? Aw, still silence? I wonder if that means he's still being quite pensive. Let me add that for you. How to soothe myself. What's the weird energy? And any guidance or hope? All right. And are you saying you didn't expect to feel this way? Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? Yeah, but he's got to be able to be supportive instead of like making matters worse. So I appreciate that, Lee. Thank you for liking, Aaron. I appreciate it. Ah, okay. Didn't expect feelings. I've clarified that for you. All right, what else do we have? The moon in the reverse, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Cups. I do think this is someone who often lets their fear take over their thought process regarding romancing someone, and they assume negative intent. So, oh, I don't know why I would be like dedicated or focused on you. I'm sure you're talking to like 7 different people. Or, oh, you're at work, huh? I don't trust you. I bet you're actually like out partying with some people. This is a person who expects to be disrespected or brokenhearted if they put themselves out there. The problem is, I think they use that in part to justify their own not so great actions. So it's like, oh, well, I stayed on the dating app because I expected that you would do the same. Or I was flirting with that person because I can't imagine that you're actually like pursuing something real with me, you know? Hello, Carla. How we doing? I hope you're enjoying the holiday. Well, it's a holiday here. I guess I don't know everybody is in the country that I am, but thank you for the floating heart. What else do we have? Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, 5 of Cups in the reverse, and the Chariot. You are karma for this person. If you act right, anyways. If you fall into the quicksand with this person, then you're just another number. I don't mean that's literally all you are, but to them, you are just another person that tried but didn't really get them to change. It's the fact that you walk away and you regret or you reject their offer that kind of like shakes them awake. Like they have to finally acknowledge, oh, I could have actually been in a pretty awesome relationship with that person if I hadn't been so quick to assume that they were lying or that they weren't really capable of monogamy. They think the worst of others, and it's a way for them to avoid bettering themselves. So at a certain point, it's like, well, so let me get this straight. You want to be able to date somebody who's going to operate with the best of intentions, be honest, and be genuine, but you're not offering that yourself? What makes you think that you deserve someone who is healed and respectful and authentic if you are not offering that in the relationship? Just curious. Like, do you bake really good cookies? Maybe you're an excellent chef and you make some great enchiladas. Um, are you really handy? Like, you know how to fix everything in the house? Um, we have someone who has to realize, and it's because they encounter you, that they can't be having higher expectations for their potential partners if they're not working on themselves either, right? Hello, third eye. How are you doing? So we have the Nine of Wands. Cookies. Hello, COG. How are you doing? So this Nine of Wands is about protecting your energy and recognizing that this is someone who doesn't really let people get to know them because they are consistently expecting things to not go well. So with the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, I see you walking away from this before they get a chance to sabotage it. And it is because they are still interested or because they see how maturely you approach this that it kind of challenges their perception or their approach. Thank you for the tip, Alok. Let me know if you have a question. And we're at 22 minutes, so it'll probably be about 12 minutes before I start the personal questions. How could I forget, third eye? So we have the Hermit in the reverse again, actually in the same spot. This person, it's like they refuse to admit that they have some ownership of why things have gone wrong in the past. This would be someone who's very quick to blame other people. Oh, well, that didn't work out because they lied. That didn't work out because they were jealous. That didn't work out because they lived too far away. They need to admit their own issues and work on them, or they'll just continue to repeat that pattern. This is the situations deck. What else do we have? COG, that's hilarious. And I did just buy some M&M cookies too, so yep. All right, what else do we have? Commitment. They want commitment, but they don't know how to get to it because they keep sabotaging it. They see the way that you have your ish together, your life together. And I think most importantly, they see the self respect that you have. That's not exactly common amongst the people that they have dealt with in the past. And I do feel like you grace this person's life as a little bit of a warning. Like they need to implement that self respect in their own life, or they're going to continue to miss out on the kinds of connections that they want because they're approaching them with toxic energy. So you're finally, wordlessly, I think, challenging this person. Are you going to work on these things, or are you just going to be content to only make it like part of the way towards a real relationship? They can't always blame the other person. At some point, they have to acknowledge that they're not ready for the relationship either. So we have access granted and meeting with interlude, pause, and timing factor. So I see, whoever this reading is for, I see you communicating that you're going to step away, or whatever access you had granted to this person, maybe it's not really working out. Maybe there's something in your life that you really need to work on. Maybe you admit that you need to focus on your school or your work. Maybe you have a lot of work around the house to do, but I see you basically communicating, I can't really invest in this. Maybe someday we can reconnect, but at this point, I need to focus my attention elsewhere. The way you approach this is making them want more, is making them realize that they don't want to chase people who don't know how to approach love in a mature way. They want to be good enough for you. Hello, Barik. How are you doing? Hey, Tiffany. It's fine if it's not for you. Keep it moving. I do my channel for a lot of people, and if it's not right for you, that's totally fine. But I ask that you leave the live chat instead of trying to judge people for it, okay? What else do we have? Tragedy, forbidden love, pretending, fake, and living beyond means, and bounty hunter. So you push back on this person's approach, which is avoidant and fearful, and you acknowledge that all you want are connections where you're dealing with somebody who knows how to actually communicate those emotions. You don't want to be some like another person that they self-sabotage the relationship with, or that they blame. And by asserting yourself and showing the respect you have for yourself, it actually puts them into chaser mode, which is interesting because they're very accustomed to being the person who is chased. Yo, I was thinking the same thing, Zen. New Age literally has been around since like what, the 14th century. So I have a hand gesture that I would like to do at this time, but I don't think that YouTube would let me do it. Um, it's similar to a shake weight. All right. Did we ever get a question from Alok, by the way? I see your donation, and I could just pull some cards and see what we get for your reading. And thank you, Erin. I appreciate you clarifying that. I was kind of hoping that's what you meant by that. Ooh, let's get the Dead Inside deck, shall we? I feel like this has something to say about this person. When I should change to a new job. Awesome. I have added that for you. Thank you, Alok, for clarifying that. Going forward, if you don't mind putting that in the super chat itself, that makes it a lot easier to make sure that I address the question. All right, so we have toxic but familiar. Yeah, I do think that some of you, like, there is this potential that some of you are going to fall into this trap with this person because it is familiar. It reminds you of a connection that you dealt with in your past. Like, oh, insecurity. I have memories of that. Pattern, attachment, comfort, and pain. For some of you, because it is familiar, because you had dealt with somebody like this in the past, there is a sense of comfort in knowing how this person will probably act, even though it is not mature. We have it's complicated, and we also don't have enough light. Give me a second, okay, you guys? Does that help? Just a little bit? Maybe? Sorry. We have it's complicated. And I can't help it. I think that's hilarious with the crying skeleton, and then it says seen 2 days ago. Crying over situationships, emotional investment, and rejection. This is like pretty much what their dating history has been. They get close to someone, but they don't ever get into a committed relationship. And there's usually someone who's crying and whining because Why have you just like left in the middle of a conversation? Or why is it that you're not interested in getting to know me better? Instead, you're switching it up on this person and you're removing yourself from this. You don't really want to be dealing with somebody who doesn't know how to date. So this is attractive to them. They're like, wait, what? I'm so confused. Usually people like chase me and stuff. And you like walked away because you know you deserve better. That's not fair. They're used to people trying to lure them back in or trying different ways to get their attention. And instead, you're like, okay, oh, I got things to do. See ya. And they're like, wait, what? Why aren't you chasing me? Is this thing on? I don't understand. You don't approach them the same way as everyone else because you actually have respect for yourself. Again, you're teaching this person a little bit of a lesson, right? So let's get just a few from the Romance Angel Oracle, and then we're going to start on those personal questions. Lemonade said we should name the next candle It's Complicated. I like that. Yeah, you know, like previous candles, I haven't done 3 different essential oils in one candle. This bad habit one is the first one to do that. So It's Complicated seems like a good option. I'm so proud of you, James. Well done. Hello, Rage. How are you doing? That makes me think of Rage Against the Machine. I don't know if that's why you called your studio Rage. But that's okay. We have stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. This is what the difference is between you and all the other people that this person has dated. You're like, it's okay. I don't need to be like chasing you because like you don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't need to teach you how to love. That's like on your own time. You can deal with that. But why would I chase a relationship with somebody who doesn't know how to treat me? Right? So you're convinced that there's something else out there for you, and that is a little bit unnerving for this person. So we have, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. You're the only person that they have encountered this hermit in the reverse where they actually felt like they could trust you, and it's a little bit scary. They're used to being very fearful, but there's something about how you approach conversations and how you approach their immature patterns that really kind of shakes them to their core and makes them realize it's time to work on things and helps them to realize they really have got some serious feelings for you and maybe they need to do something to not lose you. It's inspiring them to look in the mirror and acknowledge the healing that needs to happen. All right, let's dive into those personal questions. Ooh, we have James up first. I'm just going to assume you would prefer the Golden Girls, James. That's fair. Oh, hello, Rachel. How are you doing today? And thank you, everyone, for liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Alok, I'm starting personal questions now. You don't have to worry about adding your question again. However, I do go in order based on who super chatted when. So we have James, and then Lee, and then Flower, and then Alok. So just a little bit of a wait till I get through those other personal questions, okay? So for James, we have, oh, that's right, the toothache. Definitely wishing you healing. And can James survive until tomorrow? Yes. We have the Hermit and the Ten of Cups. I do feel like you'll be feeling much better tomorrow and you can make it through today. Any advice for James to make sure that he can? Queen of Swords in the reverse. I do feel like you need to you're going to probably irritate someone. Maybe someone wants you to work late. Maybe somebody wants you to go out. Maybe someone wants you to like run an errand for them. I see you saying no to someone and they're mad about it, and it's okay. They can be mad all they want. But you need to do what makes sense for you. So I feel like either you go home early or you reschedule something with that 10 of cups. That's about being at home, right? Or can be a domestic card. Change of plans or going home early. If somebody's mad about it, oh well, it's my health. So like, I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You need to rest. That's the important thing here. So if somebody gets mad about it, like tough titties, whatever. But it's important for you to make that change or have a more restful evening. So whoever's getting mad about that, oh well, that's their problem. No humor and tooth pain. It's true. Yeah, I hear you on that, Rachel. Well, I hope you have a good experience at the dentist, James, or at least a quick one. All right, let's see what we have for Lee. Why is the hubby acting out regarding the ex? What advice do we have for Lee regarding the hubby? Thank you, Matthew. Yes, for the guidance that you need. No problem. No barbecue today, Rachel. Weather isn't really supportive of that. I guess some people are still grilling, but I did get some enchiladas. Uh-huh, yeah. They can wait on that, James. All right, so we've got, oh yes, for Lee. What is the advice for Lee regarding the hubby getting a little bit up in arms regarding the ex? So we have the Four of Swords in the reverse, Seven of Wands, and the Three of Cups in the reverse. Stand your ground. You're not doing anything you shouldn't be. There's frustration, but hubby needs to know that you're not the person that deserves to deal with like the brunt of that frustration. We've got the Three of Cups in the reverse and the King of Pentacles. I do feel like hubby is frustrated over financial situation, being impacted by your ex's inability to do right by his end of the bargain. So it's kind of like basically saying your hubby has a reason to be upset, but he's not handling it the right way. So basically, you might need to just have a little chat like, I understand and you're not wrong, but adding to my anxiety or stress isn't going to change how the ex is acting, right? Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Erin. What else for Lee, please? The Devil, Page of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, this I think primarily boils down to the husband feeling nervous that your ex acting out or doing like not doing right by the agreement is going to have more financial stress for the two of you. So I think the easiest thing to do is to remind or the most important thing to do is to remind your husband that arguing between the two of you isn't going to make things better. And also have something that you could potentially do to navigate the difficulty financially. And I think this could come down to what we were talking about the other day about if you're responsible for all the transportation, then there has to be some way that you get compensated for the gas. There is, I think, something that's going to change in your agreement or something that's going to be added to the agreement regarding the finances because your ex should not be putting all of this on you. So if you have had a conversation with the hubby about that. That's important. Or maybe you need to expound upon that or act on it and talk to the lawyer. But I do feel like a lot of this is about finances. What can we do to make sure that financially this isn't a setback for us just because the ex is being unreliable or difficult? Anything else? I do see this ending. I do see there being some change in behavior after this conversation. It may seem like a small change initially, but it leads to additional changes down the line. So it's important to get there, right? All right, Miss Hunter, deuces. I don't believe you. You guys, does it say dumb on my forehead? I'm just curious. I don't know. All right, Lee, I wish you luck with that. You got it. Let's see what we've got for Flower. Bike instructor is still silent. How to soothe myself. What does Flower need to know that would help regarding the situation? How to soothe during this. The Hierophant and the Four of Wands. I do see you getting advice from someone that you respect. And I do think this person is married. I'm not saying that this is like a therapist or like your best friend. It might be a coworker who just happens to be an old soul or really wise. But there's someone that you encounter who's like able to make sense of it all for you. And they have a good grasp on what it is to love. I think they have a very healthy relationship right now. But I also feel like there is a journey that you take that helps you. So it could be, a park that you used to go to all the time. It could be going to your favorite restaurant or just, going to the pet shop and seeing all the adorable puppies. But I feel like there is a location that you visit that lifts your spirits. I don't feel like it costs much money, if anything at all, but it helps to remind you of that power within and that happiness within. And I feel like it also gives you perspective. So trust your intuition, it's going to guide you. And I do feel like having a little bit of like youthful fun is important. Hello, Nayla. Thank you for the tip. Let me add this for you. Going on a flight tomorrow. Energy check and advice. Awesome. I've added that for you. Thank you, Nayla. And what's the weird energy that Flower is feeling tonight? Yes, that's a good location. I support that. And what is this weird energy that Flower has been feeling? Two of Cups. Two of Wands in the reverse. Is this the bike instructor? Is this S? No. Is this T? You're getting negative energy because of T. Was it Thomas? Forgive me, but I'm pretty sure those were letters you had given to me in previous questions, and my mind is like a steel trap, okay? Some of the times, not all the time. I feel like there is some distraught energy coming from T, right? Thinking about you, thinking about what happened between the two of you and regretting how things were handled. So you're picking up on this person's energy, but I just want to remind you that you also have the ability to block off this energy because I don't feel like it really serves you. So I don't know if you've done anything protective, like imagining protective shield around you, or I think you maybe mentioned you've done cutting the cord, but this is someone who feels particularly distant from you right now and like yearning for your energy, and you can feel it. You're like, ugh. Yes. So if you have the ability to just throw out a little block on Thomas, his energy, that would be important, I think. Um, would that be enough to rid the weird energy? Yes. That's all you need to do. Little protective spell or prayer. But this is someone who feels like it was a major loss to lose you. Not the first and not the last. um, and what about these feelings that Flower was not expecting? We have the Ten of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Knight of Swords, Ten of Swords in the reverse. So I think you were expecting, and probably rightfully so, a more mature response to the communication, or at least a more timely response. And with this Ten of Pentacles, King of Pentacles in the reverse, you're seeing a different side to the bike instructor, which is a little bit unnerving and causes you to question whether or not your intuition is on board or on point. And I just want to remind you that people are chaotic, people are indecisive, people have multiple layers, you know. We've got people who can be extremely positive and loving and caring on, you know, during one day or with one person, and then the next day with somebody else, they could be a total terror. There are different sides to the bike instructor, and you are encountering those, or you have encountered more than one. That doesn't mean that your powers of perception are off or, you know, not good. It just means that you're discovering another layer to this person, and that this person is human. The bike instructor has some limitations where it concerns long-term relationships, and I do feel like the bike instructor is aware of this. But it doesn't make you any less smart or perceptive, you know, realizing that there are these layers, right? You're like an onion. We do have the Magician, the Hanged Man in the reverse, and the Page of Cups. There is a need on his side to feel more courageous about communicating what is being felt and what, you know, is needed. But your understanding of who you are and what you're capable of needs to be top of mind. Allow him to go through these changes and process this information. And at some point, you'll know whether or not it's a good idea to continue to invest in that, or to just, you know, walk away from it. But at this point, you're dealing with somebody who hasn't really figured out themselves. So trying to communicate with you in the best possible way is kind of confounding them right now. They're like, oh, I don't know. I would compare it to somebody who's trying to have a really clear conversation in a language that they only kind of speak, right? If I were to speak to you in Spanish and you spoke to me in French, there would be some question marks. There would be some times where I'd be like, could you say that again? I don't understand how French does all of that. It sounded like you said 2 letters, but really there's like 5 letters in there. And what about that S, and why don't you pronounce it? You know what I mean? Um, you're still working through things, and so is this person, but that doesn't change the fact that you have a really good understanding of yourself. That's probably for the best. Yes, I would agree. Um, hello, Bobby. How are you doing? Hello, Jayanta. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Frederick. Hello, V-Rug. How are you? All right, Flower, I am wishing you all the best. Remember, you are amazing. And I hope your son and the kittens are doing well. All right, we are at a lock And then Matthew would be next after that, and then Nayla. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? For a lock, when does it make sense to pursue the new job? What is the timeline for the new job? We have 2 5s. So I would say within 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. Because I do feel like with this 4 of Cups, there's something that gets worse in about a month or something that becomes like intolerable. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Well, let's just ask. Should there be applications and pursuing now? Yes. So you should be pursuing new opportunities or, making new connections already, or get started on that if you haven't. But I see there being an optimal time for you to leave in like basically a month to a month and a half, because things are going to get more complicated or difficult in your current situation. Increasingly as you approach that month to 6 weeks mark. 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. I do see there being an interruption in the flow of money or somebody who is mismanaging money. And this could actually impact whether or not people get paid for work that they've already done. I see somebody lying about a loan or lying about whether or not they have money to be able to pay vendors or employees. So this is going to be something where you may even have to like take someone to court in order to get pay if you don't have this new job sorted. So yes, start looking or start interviewing, start making the moves now, but the timeline looks to be in about 5 weeks or so. Rachel says, did I mention I don't know how to flirt? You're funny though. That goes a long way, Rachel. So we have Justice. I just want to see, is this 2 options? You are going to have 2 options, 2 attractive options for a new job. What does that mean? Okay, this is strange. I think the letter P is important. That could be the name, like the name of the company starts with the letter P. Or the person that you interview with could be, Pedro or Petra. I don't know. But that's important as far as which direction to go. Either the company or the person you're talking to, first name or last name, there's a letter P. All right. I hope that helps a lot, and I am sending you abundance. I hope it puts you into a better situation than where you currently find yourself. Let's see what we've got for Matthew. What is the guidance that Matthew most needs at this time, please? What is the guidance that Matthew most needs at this time, please? Ace of Wands in the reverse. 10 of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. 3 of Cups. And the Queen of Wands. I see failure or a sense of like I messed it up or I missed an opportunity. This could be pertaining to finances or family or long-term relationship. But I see you recovering. I see you getting back on the right track. So this is either saying you find a new opportunity and it's better than the previous one, or this is saying, that other thing wasn't meant to be and you have something better lined up and waiting for you. You just have to make sure you're taking the appropriate actions to get there. But I see there being somebody here who is actively trying to it's like they got their thumb on the scale. They're trying to make sure that you get the best possible situation. It could be somebody who's no longer with us, to be honest. There is guidance here. So the advice is don't you waste your time being all uppity or miserable. Don't curse the skies. This is working out in your favor. You just have to realize that, now is your exit, or now is the time for you to make this change. Thank you, Flower. Let me add that for you. Am I right to not wait around? Just feeling sad and moving on. It's been so long since I felt that safe and warm. I've added that. Thank you, Flower. What else for Matthew, please? You're so welcome, Joe. It's true. What else do we have for Matthew, please? Hanged Man. You're going to have a change in perspective or see things differently. So with the King of Swords in the reverse, that's why this positive energy or thinking is so important, because there is an opportunity here and you might be like, oh, that'll never work out for me, or oh, that person would never choose me. That would never be like for me. Au contraire, give yourself some credit. A positive mindset is required for things to switch for you or to change for you. So dispense with the negative stuff, the fears or the imposter syndrome, whatever it might be. You are awesome and you're about to get something awesome. So you better believe it. Ooh, hello, Valhallen. How are you doing? From Norway. I love Norway. I'm like half Norwegian, by the way. I don't know if you can see. That's Freya right there. And I have some rose malling. So I'm a big fan of Norway. I went to Bergen and did Norway in a nutshell. I'm not getting paid for this, by the way, but if anybody ever has the opportunity to do Norway in a nutshell, I highly recommend it. It was like easily one of the highlights of my life. All right, so last thing for Matthew. We got Page of Cups in the reverse and the Empress in the reverse. The negative feelings, once you like let go of those, it allows for you to see the opportunities or the offers that are available. But right now, the negative energy is blocking it and making you feel like, oh, that's a waste of my time, or I wouldn't be able to like make that work anyways. It's important to shift that and acknowledge that you are worth it. And that's what changes. Oh, that's so great. I did not spend much time in the north part of the country, but I'm trying to remember, what is it called? My great grandfather was born off the coast in a lighthouse. Oh gosh, what is it called? I actually visited it, but I can't remember what the name of it is. It's on the southern side of the country. Before they immigrated to the US. And I actually got to visit that lighthouse, which was pretty cool. Oh, that's so awesome, Matthew. You're so welcome. Remember, you deserve to be happy, okay, Matthew? That goes a long way. Hello, Dracula. What's up? Ooh, good luck with that tattoo. See, you still win. But I would also I'm sorry, you guys. You probably hear me say this all the time. I really, really miss the breakfast that I had in Norway. Like the good cheese and bread and fruit and fish. Ugh, love salmon. All right, let us move on. We've got Nayla up next. We have a flight tomorrow. What is the energy check and advice for Nayla regarding the flight tomorrow, please? What is the energy check and advice for Nayla on the flight tomorrow? Seven of Swords in the reverse. Queen of Cups in the reverse. Two of Wands. Five of Swords. Well, I do see I do see a delay or some sort of hiccup, some problem. Is this something that can be avoided? No. I do feel like there's either like a rude customer or somebody who does their job poorly, and it ends up causing some delays and some frustrations. Three of Cups in the reverse. It may result in not getting somewhere at the right time or early enough. But with the Ten of Swords in the reverse, it's not going to put at risk the other things that you have planned. It might mean that you show up somewhere a little short of breath, or you might not have the chance to, like, you know, um, go to the bathroom where you want to, or you don't have a chance to, like, switch into new clothes. But it's going to work out. It's just going to be a little bit stressful, to be honest. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, the Hermit in the reverse. Is this just because somebody isn't really on top of their game? Is this something on like the corporate side or the business side? Yeah, this isn't like you forget your ticket or anything like that. I mean, we all kind of work from our phones now, right? You don't really have to like print out a ticket. But this is saying it's not like you forget something really important. I think you're on top of your game in that regard. It's somebody like for the airline or working at the airport or I don't know, like a law enforcement officer. There's someone here who messes up and it impacts the travel. But you're still able to make things work the way you need to. Ace of Cups in the reverse, Ace of Swords in the reverse. You may at some point be tempted to voice your frustration. I don't think it's going to be helpful. Sometimes if you say, hey, can we get like another cash register open over here? We got like 8 people in line. Sometimes when you voice your concern, then people like fix it and it's better. But this is saying like it's best to just like suck it up, buttercup. Just like deal with it. But you will get there. You will be all right. It's just not in as timely a fashion as you would like. And let's ask, is this going to be safe travels? Will it be safe travels? I do feel like there's going to be a little bit of turbulence, either literally turbulence or some sort of frustration that may be less than comfortable. But I still see you getting where you need to be. It's just not as relaxing a day as you would probably prefer. Hello, how's it going? Is it Malika? I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Ooh, and then I've got Flower. Oh, I'm so jealous. That sounds delicious, Valhalla. Let me add this for Flower. About destiny for this incarnation. Thank you, Flower. And for, I hope I'm saying your name right. Should I just call you Millie? Does my crush like me back? I sure hope so, but we will find out. Safe travels to you, Nayla. And let's see what we've got for Flower. Hello, Bull. How you doing? Hello, Luke. What's up? And was Flower right to not wait around? Was it in Flower's best interest to not wait around? Yes. Even though it's probably painful, right? With the Hermit, we got somebody literally in a coffin for this one. It's not easy, but you made the educated decision. You made the intelligent choice because you knew where this was going. It doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean that you can just like cut off any feelings that you might have had, but it is demonstrating that you know what's going on from like a higher perspective, right? Thank you, Gab. I hope you're having a good day. Al and me. I've added that for you. Thank you, Gab. How does anybody compete with Norway? Like for real though. I would move there. And I went out of my way to leave a cold environment. Okay, Minnesota is cold. Norway can also be pretty cold, but they have like the best strawberries in the world, so it's worth it. And they have lefse. Hello, Mac. How are you doing? Sending you a big ol' hug, flower. So what else about this? Hold on. What else does Flower need to know since it's been a while since she'd felt so safe with somebody? So we have the Four of Wands in the reverse and the Page of Cups. It wasn't fake what you felt, feeling safe around this person. The bike instructor had good intentions, but we can have good intentions and still be a little bit inept when it comes to love, right? We can offer those warm, fuzzy feelings and we can be a good shoulder to cry on without actually necessarily knowing how to actually be a good person over the long term. So, those are not conflicting ideals. The issue was you got to protect yourself from that disappointment later on when the issues and the lack of healing starts to really kind of show. So, yes, there's a little bit of pain, there's a little bit of sadness, but you're saving yourself a bigger heartache by not investing in somebody who still needs to work on those things. Hello, Jason. How are you doing? Oh, I bet I would love it there, Mac. Hello, Earth Angel. How we doing? All right, and what does Flower need to know with regards to this incarnation? What is the destiny for Flower during this incarnation? Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, Strength. Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So what I saw with this Strength card that made me kind of chuckle, because then I saw this Queen of Pentacles card, which is a little unusual. I saw someone walking a tightrope, right? Not something most people can do. I, for one, would fall off and make a total fool of myself. But it almost looks like homie has like one of those like balancing rods, right? This is basically saying you are inspiration for people around you, people who maybe aren't as invested in working on themselves or might have some work to do with regards to self-respect, but you land on your feet. Perhaps you were a cat in a previous life or a raven. We've got this Queen of Pentacles, which is very unusual. This is not how most Queen of Pentacles are depicted, but that's literally you climbing up to go tightrope, okay? You are bold. Yes, there are things that scare you. Yes, there are things that make you sad. Yes, there are things that, you get anxious about. But period, end of story, you are bold. I don't know if you have a lot of fire sign in your chart, but this is your purpose. You inspire others because you're the kind of person to be like, whatever, I'm gonna do it. And if I look like a fool, that's fine. At least I can tell a funny story, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from living my life. And that's what you're supposed to be like. So with the Ace of Swords in the reverse, this is like, you don't wait for the green light. You don't wait for someone to be like, okay, you're good to go. You're just like, I feel like doing this, so I'm gonna do it. And that's how you're supposed to be, because you inspire other people around you to finally get up off their butt and do what they need to, because you have this like bold, lovely energy about you. Don't ever let anybody ruin that for you, because it is one of the most beautiful things about you, okay? So you are meant to inspire people to finally do things instead of sitting around like bumps on a log. So we have this King of Cups. I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people who fall in love with you. There are a lot of people who fall in love with you, and then you go, oh, okay, time to like crawl up to the next level. Sorry, you can't come along. There are a lot of people who fall in love with you because they are envious of how bold you are and how quickly you are able to switch your plans and go for it. And that's what you're supposed to do. So you're on the right track. It's not an easy path, but you make it look good. You make it look good. And I love that for you, Flower. Hello, Dave. How are you doing? Oh, you got it, Matt. I believe in you. Did I say hello to Dave? I think so. I'm so glad, Flower. You make me smile all the time. Hello, Key Controller. How you doing? All right, so we've got Millie or Milica up next. Does my crush O like me back? Does Milica's crush O like him back? Yes. Wheel of Fortune. But there is some concern here with the Ten of Wands in the reverse. We have somebody who's like, yes, totally have a crush on you, but like, what about what that person thinks? Or what's going to happen if I confess or if I pursue something? Is that person going to judge me? Or am I going to, I don't know, lose my job? There's some anxiety here over that crush or that return of affection. So the Ace of Cups is in the reverse because it's like, I feel like I have to hide. I feel like I can't tell you. So I don't know if you like work with this person or maybe you dated their brother or sister. I don't know. There's some concern or source of anxiety here, and that kind of puts it on ice, right? Hello, Ronaldo. How are you doing? Okay, so there's concerns over whether or not it would eventually cause some drama, right? And is O gonna get over that? Medium. We have the Hermit sideways. I don't usually look at cards sideways, but that's how it came out. I do feel like this is someone who's going to want to pursue something or admit that there is some chemistry here, but be cautious. I do feel like this is someone who it's like one of those predictable rom-coms where we don't really have a fully developed understanding of what we want and where we're going. So it's like I'm going to daydream and like enjoy all of these possible like happy endings with you, but then I'm gonna freak out and not know how to actually pursue anything because I don't know, maybe I'm too young, or maybe you're gonna move and I'm gonna pursue something different. So this is like, be very cautious because it could end up with some heartbreak if one person is serious about it and the other is not. So unless this person O approaches you with some pretty definitive plans, this seems to be suggesting that it might be best to leave this love on the shelf or let this kind of simmer. It might have an opportunity to grow into something beautiful if you and O have enough time to develop a little bit more as individuals and know how to approach love in a mature way. But as of right now, it might be one of those things where it's like chemistry, fireworks, and then it fizzles out because I don't know how to like take this to the next level, right? Or I have to move away now. That kind of thing. Hello, Tandex, how are you doing? I hope I said that right. If I'm supposed to pronounce the H, let me know. My apologies. No problem, Milica. Ronaldo's just out here saying the whip. All right, let's see what we've got for Gab, and I wish you luck, Millie or Millica. So what is the T between Al and Gab, please? I'm doing well, thank you. I like it, Dave. What is the T between Al and Gab, please? Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles in the reverse, Temperance, and the Chariot. I see there being some renewed interest in making amends or establishing a clear connection or communicating. We've got with the Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles in the reverse, a sense of loss or distance, maybe even no contact. But we also, moving forward, there seems to be like sunnier skies coming through. We've got someone who's in a happier mood and thinking about how well your energies work together. With the Chariot, I feel like we have somebody who is moving on from some kind of like sour feelings and feeling that maybe it's time to revisit whether or not it could work between the two of you. So is this somebody who wants to apologize or like make amends or reach out? Yes. Ooh, I like that. We have the Queen of Pentacles that just came out, right? And then we have the King of Pentacles. Interesting because both of these have grapes. And I was just talking about like, what was I saying? Sour grapes? I don't know. Do you really like the color purple? I don't know. I'm really focused on these grapes. Maybe you like to drink wine. Look, these are divine counterparts. These are people that understand each other. So I feel like there is like an improvement in the energy between the two of you because we have someone acknowledging, perhaps because of the contrast with other people. I don't know why I'm messing with all these people that don't understand me when Gab understands me or when Al understands me. There's this like, I feel like it's a reunion because somebody is tapping into that inner wisdom or that intuition and letting go of some fears or anxiety. Have a good rest of your day, Key Controller. Any other advice? Yeah, I feel like we've got somebody who is admitting, like, I miss you. I don't want to never talk to you again or wonder, whether or not you were the one that got away or, I made a big deal out of nothing. So I do feel like there is leveling up of the connection or the affection between the two of you. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you everyone for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to. And thank you for checking out my new candles. They're in the description box just in case you are wondering. And I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.